Hey, good morning to everybody. Daryl P here, aka Artist in Recovery. This morning I was going through the news and I really didn't find anything that grabbed my attention to do a spoken word video for, but I want to share a 100% true story with you guys. And at first it was uplifting. I thought, finally, a crack in this Trump supporter ice. And, well, let me tell you the story. Okay, so I had to get a tune-up on my car yesterday. I went early in the morning, about 9 a.m., dropped my car off, and there's a McDonald's right down the street in the small town next to the city where I live. That's a small town of about 5,000 people, and I went to the McDonald's there. And I sat down, and I was going through my phone, having a hot chocolate. And I actually ended up sitting, a lot of older guys came in, and I realized I was sitting in the old man corner, like where all the older guys gather, like these old, like boomers, I guess you'd call them. So about 5 or 6 older guys gathered around and started sitting and talking. One thing I noticed is I saw these guys walk in with empty McDonald's soda glasses, and I couldn't believe this part. Each one of them went up to the soda machine, like they went on the soda machines on the side, where the registers can't, cash registers, the people can't really see them, and they filled up their sodas. So they were actually stealing sodas, but has nothing to do with the story. Okay, so they start talking, and 2 of them end up sitting there longer than the others. And they start engaging me a little bit as I'm listening to their conversation. They're talking about Donald Trump, and they're obviously Trump supporters, or they were. The thing that amazes me is they were bad-mouthing Trump. They don't like him now. This is basically what they said. It was basically his arrogance and his greed that seems to be getting to them. They mentioned Argentina and the $40 billion going there. The treatment of the American farmers. This is stuff that made them angry. The treatment of American farmers. One thing I've been hearing a lot of too is the treatment of U.S. vets. They're upset with the way Trump is treating vets. And I didn't notice that myself lately, but it's something I heard a lot of yesterday. And this was big, the White House, tearing down the White House. They were very upset about that. Okay, so I'm listening to this conversation, but it's still tinged with little MAGA stuff, like, they're still blaming immigrants for stealing health care and stealing this and that and making their lives miserable. So there's still the basic Trump Foundation belief, racist belief in there, but they don't like him. They do not like him at all. And this is the part that I almost choked on my soda when I was listening to them at this point, because this is what they said. Because I was kind of looking amazed when they said this stuff, because I've been saying this for 10 years. And this is what they said. They said, how could we have known? Everybody was fooled by him. Everybody, this is exactly what they said. Everybody loved him. Everybody believed him. He was such a good phony and a liar. He fooled us all. Nobody knew. Nobody could have known. And I almost choked on my effing soda. They haven't, did they just tune out like all the late night hosts, all this stuff on CNN, what half the country's been saying for the last 10 years? They were serious. They were 100% serious. I don't know if they were trying to absolve themselves of guilt or what, but they were like, how could we have known? He fooled everybody. Nobody, they actually said this. Nobody knew. Nobody knew what a greedy, arrogant piece of shit he was. Unbelievable. All right, now here's where I kind of lost my my hope. They've kind of gone from Trump to Trump light. They don't like Trump, but they started talking about who they do like. They do like little Marco, they called him, Marco Rubio. And they love J.D. Vance. Wouldn't J.D. Vance make a great president? This is exactly what they said. They said that whenever J.D. Vance is on TV, he answers the questions so quickly. He's so smart and so quick. He's right on the ball. He answered. I swear to God, this is what they said. And I'm keeping quiet. I'm like, of course. He was probably on Fox News or on Newsmax. And they tell him ahead of time what they're going to ask. You know, of course he's answering the questions easily. You know, he knows what the questions are going to be. You know, so at first I was enthusiastic, but then when I discovered that they're just, you know, they haven't changed their belief system at all. They just realized what a POS Donald Trump is. Why it hits them now after, why it took the White House being torn down to finally make a light bulb go on, I don't know. But hey, I guess I guess late's better than nothing. Late's better than never, I guess. A little too effing late. Have a good Friday.